Number 1. Determine whether the rate of change is constant. If it is, find the rate of change and explain what it represents. Okay, so let's take a closer look at that. So the first thing we got to do is find the change in time between each of the times written. So we add 2 to go from 0 to 2, add 2 to go from 2 to 4, and add 8 to go from 4 to 12. Now we got to do this for the elevation. We go down 1,600 from the first 2, go down 1,600 from the second 2, and then between these two, you go down 6,400. Now, we need to find the rate of change. So we're going to take each pair, meaning y over x, and y over x, and see if they're all the same. If they're all the same, then there is a rate of change. If not, we're going to say there isn't. So first, let's do the first two. Change of y, 1,600, we're going down. Change of x, 2, which reduces to negative 800 over 1. Now, second 2 are the same. Negative 1,600 over 2 will be negative 800 over 1. So we only have to do the third one. So that's negative 6,400 over 8, which gives you negative 800 over 1, which means since they're the same for each of the three, that there is a rate of change, it's constant, and it's going to be that. So let's type that in. So yes, there is a rate of change, it's constant, and it equals negative 800 over 1. You're going down 800 feet every minute. Now we explain what it represents. Basically, it is the number of feet the airplane will descend every minute. And that is number 1. Number 2, find the slope of the line. So we're just going to do rise over run. So take the first point, count down, count the spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we go down 6, then we count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to the right 5. So as we go down, we have negative 6 over 5. So negative 6 over 5 would be the slope. Type that in. Now, if this fraction would have needed to have been reduced, you would have reduced it, but here it doesn't need to, so leave it like that. That's number 2. Number 6, using the slope formula, find the slope of the line through the given points. So let's take a look at it. First, write down the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now we mark the first point as x1 and y1, the second coordinate as x2 and y2. All that means is that this is x and y of the first coordinate, and this is x and y of the second coordinate. Now we substitute everything in. So we have 3 minus 8 over 3 minus 8. That gives me negative 5 over negative 5, which is positive 1. So my slope is positive 1. So let's type that in. Typing it in. And that's number 6. Going to number 8. It says find the slope of the line. The slope of every horizontal line is 0. So you're going to just type in 0. And that's number 8. Going to number 10. Without graphing, tell whether the slope of a line that models the linear relationship is positive, negative, 0, or undefined, then find the slope. A student earns a 95 on the test for answering one question incorrectly and earns a 75 for answering 5 questions incorrectly. So let's find the slope and see which it is. So I'm going to make a t-chart. X is going to be the number of questions wrong, and Y is going to be the score, because the score depends on how many questions I get wrong. So we get a 95 for one question incorrect, 75 for 5. So now let's find the rate of change. So we add 4 to 1 to get 5, and I subtract 20 from 95 to get 75. This is the change of y, this is the change of x. Change of y over change of x, we write negative 20 over 4, we get negative 5. So the rate of change is negative 5. Since it's negative, is going to be a negative slope. So let's choose that. So we choose A, it's negative, and we found that the slope is negative 5. And that's your answer for number 10. 11. State the independent variable and the dependent variable in the linear relationship. Then find the rate of change for the situation. The cost of beverages is $84 for 6 adults and $112 for 8 adults. The independent variable is going to be the number of adults. The dependent variable is going to be the cost because the cost of the beverages depends on the number of adults. So number of adults is independent variable and the cost of beverages is a dependent variable. Now we got to find the rate of change. So making my table, the number of adults is the independent variable, or x, and the cost of the beverages is a dependent variable, or y. To go from 6 to 8, I add 2, and to go from 84 to 112, I add 28. Change of y over change of x, this is the change of y, this is the change of x, so 28 over 2 gives you 14. So the rate of change is going to be 14. Typing in 14, that's the answer to number 11. Using the slope formula, find the slope of the line through the given points. So let's do that. So write down my slope formula and identify x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. Substituting in, I have 1 minus 1 over negative 2 minus a negative 4, which gives you 0 over 2. When 0 is up top, the answer is 0. When the 0 is at the bottom, it's undefined. So your answer is going to be 0. So typing in 0, that's my answer for number 12. 13. Find the slope of the line that passes through the pair of points. So let's take a look at it. So write my slope formula and identify x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, and then substitute in. I'd like to point out, I like to use parentheses for this reason here so I don't miss a sign. Okay, so now I do my subtracting. At the bottom it becomes adding. Now I'll get negative 1.2 over 47.38. Now we can't type it in that way. You got to reduce it. So you got to do math enter on your calculator to reduce that fraction. Doing so gives you negative 60 over 2,369. That's what you type in. So let's do that. And then I have negative 60 over 2,369. And that's number 13. 14. The pair of points lies on the same line with the given slope. Find x. So let's take a look at it. So I start by identifying x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. And I substitute in to the formula. So my slope is 3. 19 minus 10 over x minus 5. 19 minus 10 is 9 over x minus 5. Now, this 3, you know slope is rise over run. When it's just a whole number, it's understood to be over top of 1. So write this as 3 over 1 equals 9 over x minus 5. Now we're going to cross multiply to find x. So 3 times x minus 5 equals 9. Distribute to 3, we get 3x minus 15 equals 9. Add 15 to both sides, we get 3x equals 24. Divide both sides by 3, and x is going to equal 8. So your answer is going to be 8. Typing it in, 8 is the answer for number 14. Number 15. Do the points lie on the same line? For them to lie on the same line, they must have the same slope between them all. Meaning, if I take the slope of these 2 points, these 2 points, and these 2 points, they must all be the same. Doing that, they actually are the same, so that means they do lie on the same line. And that's the answer for number 15.